Okay, here we're doing some practice. I'm in my kitchen, and I've got one of them in my bathroom. And I've got Copenhagen I need to shave. And I was watching CT, and I was watching Ronin, and he was doing CQB and that. And where am I going with this? Well, let me set this here. Just in my kitchen here. I don't know if you can see. We're talking about positions. Both guys. It's on my YouTube and it's flashing on. I keep up with this. And I just gotta say that everybody is different. A million different setups, and if you were in the service, of course they trained you with the A1s and A2s, and it was kind of chicken wing back then. I've never been one of the. I have no balance. I've never been this, and I'll tell you, this is just I'm speaking. Basically, pistols. I mean, we did train some with them at that, but that's just the least weapon that you'd want to use. To just be honest, we were more rifle, and I'm not going to get into all that. I'm just trying to get into this, but what I'm trying to say is, I taught myself to shoot a pistol, basically, and I thought, what am I going to do with this thing? And this is just my opinion, and it can be shot down to hell. Probably by somebody totally professional and all this and all that. But if it works for you and it's safe and it works again and it repetitively works. So what I did, this is what I did in this video I posted. I turned the pistol, because of the points of contact, into the M60 in my mind. And there's reasons I did that. This is nothing I've Googled. I'm just telling you me. Because I had to, in the service, we shot the SAW, we shot the 60, we shot all small arms and this and that and the other. So to me, in my mind, I turned it into a center fire because that's where it is. And that means my strong arm or support side. If I get shot, I'll do drills to where I'm doing out of retention holster, a level 2, a reality, could happen to get draws off. And if I'm left-handed, I'm both eyes open. The optics I run are BACs. I'm old school. I can't help it. I was taught to fire the A1, A2 with my nose on the charging handle, and that's kind of how. I mean, if you got between your K-bar and a pistol and how you're fighting, this is more than just home defense. This is just combat fighting, and to me, it's a fight. So at a very, very young age, I'm rattling on and on, but there's reasons. If I've got both eyes, even though I've got a strong eye, you're strong eye dominant, cross eye dominant. Then when I shoot left, it's the same. If I dry fire for 10 years, and you'll see that it's kind of with both eyes open, and you can be observant. But it's the easiest thing, as just in the pressure, with one hand, single hand. So my position on a draw out of retention, I post here. I don't karate chop in. This hand does nothing. It definitely don't want to be here, but it doesn't. You would think in time and space, in energy, the less could be quicker. So if it's safe here, then this comes up, and even though I can get high on my sights from here when I'm bringing it up. My head stays. So, I guess I see my sights in a sense, but I look at the target because you never know, like I just said, what's going to happen. And then I just bring that up. But and here's my stance, and I'll tell you why. And I'm going to get off of this, but this is my first just my mindset. This is my pistol stance. This is my rifle stance. It doesn't change. This is my fighting stance. And why? Because I'm a boxer. I was a boxer. I'm a nobody, a no name. But I fought for the Y and I had trainers. I was this little teeny kid with these old other guys. And we go in there and fight. And they beat me up. That's back when you could spar. And like I said, I'm a nobody. But I'll tell you what I did do. Google Steve McCrory. He's dead and gone now. But I fought him. My brother's calling. I fought him in Huntington Fieldhouse in probably like 77, 78. $1978. The old Mr. Hartenstein, the trainer, his son turned pro. It was Frank Hartenstein, his son, stood in my corner in Huntington. The first night we go down, and you got to make the weight and see the doctor, and my uncle came to watch me. I was a kid. That was a difference in the times. I would just take off with the fighters. We had the Y van, but nobody rode with it, so I rode with all the other fighters. They were all way older than me. They rubbed Vaseline on my head and all this kind of shit. Rick Harris, Tom Lowe, Mickey Udy was a national champion. And he got shot and killed in a bar. But in any sense, went down and made the weight. Got weighed in and all that. And we drew the names out of a hat. This light's so bright. They drew the names out of a hat. Can you believe that? So the first night I got a bye. It was like a 3-day fight tournament. And the second night, I had to fight this guy. His name was Steve McCrory from Kronk Club. All the pros come out of there. They had their generation of fighters. And he was a pro then. I mean, he won the gold turned pro world champion. And I fought him. So the first round was pretty good. 3-minute rounds. And let me tell you, when somebody's on another level, now listen to this. I didn't have 10 fights. So that's called novice. You're open and novice. So under 10 fights is still novice. And I have to tell stories. I'm old before I die. I'm just trying to share the experience. And you're young, you don't know what's going on, you just know you're a fighter, you want to be a fighter. We go to the Y, we run, start out running, then we do the heavy bag, the speed bag, jump rope, a lot of jumping rope, that's the best thing. And then we'd spar. And I had all these guys, this one dude named Ron Hickman, he had the weirdest stance, he had like praying mantis stance, and he could knock dudes out. People would love to watch him fight because his arms are so long with the reach. He could knock people out halfway across the room. I got the Copenhagen, it's a Ranger thing. But that's what I was doing when I was a kid. I was learning how to fight. I was boxing. And it used to be a big thing, they have the card fights. But at any rate, back to Steve McCrory. So, I didn't know who he was. I didn't personally. I just went down there and watched it, sat with my uncle, who's dead and gone now, on the first night, watched the other fighters. And so the second night I fought him. And I'll tell you what happened. First round wasn't too bad, because they're real smart. I think he had like over 100 fights at this point, and probably about 80 of them or something. Or not, you probably go on YouTube and Google his record or something. But what you're fighting, Olympians, the art of that. You're dealing with Olympians, the people that's got the oxygen in their blood to be an Olympian, kind of like the elite. And they had Olympic trainers. That's the difference. That's back when you see like Sugar Ray Leonard, all these people that had Olympics. They fought the people of the world. They just didn't blow up in America. You know what I mean? They fought the Cuban. They fought everybody. You know, and the training and the disciplines. You know, in that sense. So I started that as a kid, and at any rate, in the fight, Mr. Hartenstein stood in my corner, and I kind of lost contact because we moved to the country, and you break contact, and so in the fight, the second round, let me tell you how fast this guy was and powerful. And like I said, I was a novice. I didn't have 10 fights at this point. I got knocked down. He was so fast you couldn't jab this guy, and he beat the body. But you try to jab him and get countered. That's how fast and how hard they could hit. And I'm pretty hard-headed. Me and my brother both are really hard heads. But he knocked me down, and I stood up as fast as I got knocked down because I was embarrassed. And let me tell you, I heard people laughing. I mean, you're this kid, you know, because I didn't know where I was at. I continued to fight, you know, but I lost, but I did fight him. And then, you know, you let the team down, the Y, you know, and I was this kid. I was like, damn, feeling like shit. But what made me feel good was, and I've done this all the time, I got out of school on Fridays to go fight with these guys. You know, this little white boy with these bigger, older guys that I drive with them. We go over the place, Bluefield. I've fought a bunch of different places, Richland, Virginia. And, but the Mickey Uda guy, who was like, you look up to people because he's older and he was good. And it was a big thing back when I was a kid. So he come in and he goes, man, I didn't know that's who you fought. He goes, and he was way older. He goes, I wouldn't even want to fight that guy. You did good. It makes you feel so good, you know. I was like, you know, and so I ended up following this guy, this Steve McCrory, every time I see him fight on TV. But I fought him, and I'm trying to find the record of it for proof. But this was way, way before the Army and all this kind of stuff. You know, I grew up hunting and stuff. But this story leads into what I'm getting at is all the different types and styles and where it derives from. So when I got to boot camp, we did rifle bayonet training. You know, back when the A1, when you had a rifle that was you could put a bayonet on and fight with. You know, and we do all the training. But I held the rifle like this. Like a boxer, right? And this was in boot camp. Then we done it at Ranger Battalion too. But in boot camp, this is honest God truth. I held it like this, and I won. I won everything, and they kept sending guys after me. And even the other drill sergeants, my drill sergeant was loving it. There was a competition in the whole company. So then they were sending 2 and 3 guys on me, and one of them finally said, where are you from? Because I said West Virginia. They said, that figures. But what I was doing was boxing. And they were saying that I couldn't hold it that way, the other drill sergeants, because we were winning. I was winning for my platoon. And my drill sergeant Toon said, he's adapted and overcome. He can do what, there's no rules in fighting. You know, this is war, this is battle. But this is honest God truth. I held the pupil stick like this because I was boxing. So where does that go? To there, the Copenhagen. My stance is this way, the fighting stance from a boxer, because you're jabbing, and like I don't like going backwards. Sometimes you got to retreat. How does that start out? From attention, parade rest, rearward march. Would you go right, left? Going backwards, left, right. From left face, right face. Positions of body movements. So if you're going to step back to be a left face, or if you're a port arms, and so, or that would be right face. Left face would be the opposite foot. That way. So it'd be snap. So if I was training somebody to fight, from attention to parade rest to move forward, you got no balance this way. I did it to my nephew. He's a big old boy. I said, and then your fist. So these guys boxing, if you don't have a solid pistol foundation to hold manage recoil, whatever your grip is, if you're leveraging or compressing it, covering all the real estate, locking out the wrist. Same thing in boxing. If you don't have this, I said, let me see your fighting stance. I did it to my coach. He didn't. He smacked himself right in the face. Get that solid, man, because the pros are going to punch through it. And here's the bad thing about moving backwards. We don't march backwards. We don't wreck backwards. Our body's not balanced backwards, really. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying for the most part. It's like I tried to ride a motorcycle up in a trailer to store it. I was too lazy to take the truck and back it up, and I was going to still have to rig up. And I rode up the steps, and it cased out on it. The last step was too high, and it hit the frame. It rolled backwards. And I'd race motocross, even at 40 years old, until I cased the triple in Johnsonville on an night race. I was like, I ain't doing this no more. I'm too old. But done all this shit, jumped, ditched off of it, had 2 KTMs, a 2-stroke that was overbuilt. This pro had it, and I traded a big Jeep for it, but everybody got hurt on that thing. It was just overbuilt. But all these forward momentum wrecks and never got hurt. Just jump right there in the backyard, of course. I'm going backwards, back down the steps, and it threw me off to the side, and I went, oh, my back. I heard that shit hurt forever. I said, I can't believe this. So what I'm getting at, we're stepping off to the side. Because what happens is when you go this way, they got forward momentum. Unless you're doing like a Hearns, he'd face back and then come forward with everything straight down the gut, that kind of stuff. And you fight all these different fighters, you're fighting. So if you want to get good at fighting, then go fight. Hang out with fighters and fight. You know what I mean? That's what I did in junior high and all this and all that. All the kids that know me and stuff. And I fought in the armory several times. As a kid, as a little kid, and you go, these big lights are on you and all this kind of shit. So that, when it moves into like the army and everything's for real and you're there to represent and for your family and the things, and you just do what you know, that transpires till the day that I'm saying, now I got this pistol, how am I going to fight with it? Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it into center fed, just like it reminds me of the M60. I'm just saying. That way, I can be equal, left or right, even though I'm still planting this way. You could go that way. I mean, I'll practice southpaw too, just to mix shit up. Boxers that are good usually can. They got their thing that's different, But what I'm getting at is the stance. We're still fighting. I'm moving. It could be with a gun. You just take steps back, but you're there. I'm down that way. I'm down this way. I'm stable. I got something stable. I'm locked. I'm stable. I got balance. You know, I might get hit. Not saying, you know, if the ribs planted, something's happening close, your shield and there, but the backwards, you ain't got eyes in the back of your head. I'm not just saying, so you could turn off, you hip and turn off, I don't know. I mean, every situation is different of how you're going to react when it happens. I mean, you're being ambushed. And the Vietnam guys that trained us to survive that in a statistic is you got to fight through it, you know. Backing up sometimes ain't fighting. I mean, provided, I'm just not saying, you know, you get the shield, the shot in your back, you know, the hand comes from behind, never up here, from behind. But you could step off to the side, because here's the thing with boxing, and it's different, but there's similarities in fighting. Once I go here, then he's off balance. It's like if I'm centering up on a target, I'm gonna try to get center. I want to get center of that. Why? Because my rate, my accuracy at speed goes up from position. Motocross, you do your setup, your bike setup, your throttle's right, from the attack position or the braking position, you know, high elbows, swimming, high elbows in the pool. There's a lot of things going on, multitasking with the body and the feet, the kick. If you're running a 6-beat kick, all this kind of stuff in sports, whether it's shooting, riding, techniques, but everybody's different. You know, I've got a 73-inch arm where I set up if I'm mid, low on my holster, and I'm outside. I never even do appendix, to be honest, because I'm just an Army guy, and you know, that kind of say is just for years. I'm iron sights, even though I run BAC and ACOG, a 4x32, nose on the relief on that set up, and then there's the way you get your shit set up. Everything is there for a reason on where it's at and why, and then what you're doing, mission set, that kind of thing. So, and there could be some, you can make adjustments for what details, but back to the basics, you know, of the stance. You know, draw down, exercise this leg, that leg, you know, whatever. Down here and sweep under, and you're still facing, and down, where you never want to give up your feet. But if somebody had a knife, your vitals, you know, and then getting back up. I'll try this, but at one set, I'm vulnerable there, or I could be vulnerable here. So I'm still there. You know, if I want to swing this back that way, I'm kind of crowded here. At that 1 second, you're vulnerable. Kinda, you know, with the balance. And always staying, good fighters are always, you know, be like Rocky, tie your feet together. You know, whatever the movements, you're moving in and to hook. Or Tyson, he had that, there you go again with Tyson. He's there, look, he's pretty, that's a kind of a shield there, the face is protected, and then overhand, you know, and then coming around. But Tyson is kind of, well, what do you call that, peekaboo, which works, but he was like forward momentum, the build he had, you know, he's coming, look, you know, and how you hitting through that. How can you punch through that? You got that coming at you, and he corners you up with all that power. But the backwards thing is, just in my mind, it can be done, but the movements, so I'm moving like and I'm planted. If I'm doing that, right now I'm kind of off balance. I'm not saying you can't be. If you surf, I did for snowboard, it was that way, you know. I don't like this because if you get shot, if you do the numbers from this, oh, I'm skinny or get skinny. No, it don't work like that. If you get shot through the side, the percentages, your plate carriers up front, your protection, you know, I'm just saying, you could take a round in and out here a lot easier than you could take one going through this way. And that's just not balanced. You snowboard, which I snowboard and stuff, but I only open up how the pistols go in the snowboard. It's just body positions. I'll set, I forget the degree on my front and my back. I try to get it more, I mean, there's guys that run this. You see them carving, they're like that. That's not too balanced either, but still they're facing forward and they're going, you know, that kind of different style. It's fast and carvy. But for fighting, it's planted but light-footed. There's where boxing is, because you got to move, you got to move, you got to move. You know what I'm saying? And get one of those balls. I've got some videos where it's coming back at you and your reflexes and that kind of stuff. But even though you're planted to be stable, being able to move, it's not going to be where you're just going to go, okay, you know, shoot and move. And there's arguments suppressing the threat. We need to get the gun up. Maybe that your cover is yourself with the bullets flying accurately and whatever. And you know, you don't know how many rounds you got or when you're going to get them again. I'm just saying, in a regular civilian fight, you're getting attacked and it's probably going to be over fairly quickly. It ain't like you're enduring a fight on and on and on and on. You never know. That's my brother calling again. But it's just, I like to be around other people that fight and their style. But just because that works for them doesn't necessarily mean it's going to always work for you. There's the custom. The university is to be safe to yourself and everything else that's around you. That's a common. That's a common. How you fight could be different from somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, in my sense, I'll come from the boxing because that's what started very, very, very young. That went on for a while till we moved and broke contact. And it just don't work. You got a promoter calling you up, well, we got to fight up too much, you're going to be down for it, but you're not hanging out with the team. You're not up there sparring and working, and you're at home with the heavy bag punching on it. And but it's not like you're not with the other fighters. You know what I mean? And you lose contact and that kind of thing. But anyway, I'm going to get off with that. It's kind of cheesy. But something that I'm passionate about. And it's just, I watch all these other people and their story. And what kicked me to make this video was Ronan talking about boxers and the high ready. He said, well, I was low ready. If you get around these Navy guys, they don't want to be shooting the damn boat. The high ready. And the high ready is, you can see your port and you're looking at your target and you point. You're basically you're driving. You're there. I think it's faster, whatever the mission set is, and just that. But I'm just saying, from a boxer standpoint, and look at the low ready. You're trying to see your barrel. It's just the same thing he's saying. You know, you're gonna have to, from a compressed low. I like a fighter. You know, you're just driving up to head from there and that kind of thing. But you just watch other people. And anytime they start talking about boxers, they hear, that ain't comfortable. Oh, my damn back, now I got a plate carrier too. I'm just saying, some protection. Fuck that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Upright and in that kind of sense, more from a boxing stance. And, you know, and I would move this way. You know, you see, don't cross over, but I mean, you could, you know, how you're trying to keep sights. See how, you know, and then, hey, you could walk backwards even. You could twist if you have to switch. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you missed that. You know, and practice that and knowing where your feet's at. But boxing, you know, that works. And then I'm down and I'm squatting. Yeah, I got balance. I'm stable. You could probably take somebody to hit you from there, you know, because you got a platform to off of. Now suddenly you got a knife coming at you. Damn, let's put some protection up. I'm just saying. And I'll sit and watch these guys. I'll even train with them on the TV. I'll use them because, especially if they got a shot timer or something. I was using the TV on CT Trainer. They'll never see this, but when they were doing it with training the cops, it had a guy. I think I live feeded it. I was acting like that was running at me because you got to get with people to train with. You can't do that kind of shit by yourself. And I saw another guy he's taking a board and closing the port and calls it a double feet. It was pretty good. He was doing it all. He got some reach. I said, that's a pretty good idea. And anyway, I'm out. Just talking again about this stuff.